It's Nolan. Shining on them haters, man. Shining on them haters, man. Shining on them haters, man. Shining on them haters. We came up hard, matched up with the squad. 5 deep in the car for a drink from a dog. Got a heat from my quad, but I see through your flaws. Money missing, I just come and get it. Got my hustle with it, running up the ditches, build the muscle, lifting up the bundles, pitching, never talking, even if a service in it. I've been living on the outer limits. All my homies know I'm on the grind. I've been working around the clock to get it, pulling hours like it's overtime. All I know is how to get the bread. Take the dough and I'ma make it rise. Got my partner about to bring the pasta, that's a full meal with the Parmesan. Got it monetized. I'ma show you how to play in this game. Gotta check and blow it quick as it came. See me flossing with them diamonds and rings. That street money never sit in no bank. Yeah, I'm back on my road, back on the block on my bros. Talking the grip as it grows, stay on my toes. Do what they take for my goals. Couple days straight ain't closed. Shout they callin' with the more problems. Change my number, I don't take the calls. I just shake it off and get more guala. Heart pumping like cold water. Run the street like my forefathers. I was taught to get the most out of it. Hustle up, then you double up. That's the only way you ever gon' profit. Blow it back before I take it home. Hard times just made me strong, so I'm cool-headed when the heat is on. All the talking, I'ma prove I'm wrong, homie, yo. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, #1 source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everyone's doing well out there. In this particular video, we're going to be going over Kendrick Lamar's album discography, all right? There's been a lot of lists that are dropping this month. Of course, December, end of the year, everybody's putting out lists and evaluating music and comparing and contrasting. We just got Kendrick Lamar's new GNX project, and I guess that inspired Billboard to come out, not only drop their hottest female rap list of the year, but they also have the ranking of Kendrick Lamar's album from what they call worst to first, okay? So y'all know how we do it over here. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through their ranking. We're going to go through their reasons, and then I'm going to give my assessment of how they line this thing up. I'm pretty sure I'm going to disagree with this. I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan, been a Kendrick Lamar fan since I first heard him with his Dumb It Down freestyle and then the Kendrick Lamar EP on Up. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they see this versus someone such as myself. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we're going to get right into it. Okay, staff picks. Every Kendrick Lamar album ranked. The Compton MC has created one of the best catalogs in rap history. That part I do agree with. They say it's been a busy year for Kendrick Lamar after disrupting the rap game in March with a breakout verse on a Hot 100 #1 song like that from Future and Metro Boomin's We Don't Trust You. Lamar went on one of the most impressive runs in rap history. The verse heard around the world took a direct shot at Drake and started what would turn out to be a months-long battle, which saw both artists deliver incredible diss tracks. But the lyrical back and forth came to a head during a weekend in May when Drake dropped Family Matters a few hours before Kendrick responded with the dark and meditative Meet the Grrrls, and then surprised everyone with the DJ Mustard-produced West Coast anthem Not Like Us later that day. That part they didn't put. Even though Drake sent one last salvo in the form of The Heart Part 6 for all those keeping score at home, the beef was all but over. Most years that would be enough for the elusive Compton rapper, but this year he had something to prove. After releasing the video for Not Like Us, Kendrick threw a legendary West Coast-centric concert called The Pop Out, where he ran through a number of hits and his most recent diss tracks. Streamed on Amazon Prime, the show felt like a coronation of sorts. If that wasn't enough, he was then picked to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show in February. For those who didn't believe Kendrick was deserving of the hip-hop throne, it became exponentially tougher to argue otherwise. After the Super Bowl announcement, everyone knew Kendrick was gearing up to release a new album. The only question was when. Many thought it happened right before the big game. PG Lang had other ideas as they dropped Kendrick's newest full-length GNX the week before Thanksgiving. Produced primarily by Soundwave and Jack Antonoff, with Mustard supplying the perfect follow-up to Not Like Us with TV Off. GNX debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with 7 tracks debuting in the top 10 of the Hot 100. It is by all counts another unmitigated success, even if some fans believe it's just a sampler before a more robust offering is released ahead of his just announced 2025 stadium tour with SZA. Now that we've had time to sit with it, we think we know how it ranks among Kendrick's other albums. In a catalog full of classics, it's a tough ranking to put together, but we've landed somewhere sensible. Take a look below and let us know how you'd rank them. They've got Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers at fucking number 7. Basically, again, this is their version of a worst to first. I'm be honest with y'all, Mr. Morale, for me in 2024, is my favorite Kendrick Lamar album. I listened to this album heavily last year and this year. I listened to it a lot when it came out too, but I took a break. And when I went back to it, it hit me even harder than it initially did. I was like, yo, this is probably his best album. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but for me, Mr. Morale is overall my favorite. There's not a lot of people in hip hop, number one, that can do a double disc and pull it off successfully. Some of our greats have had too much fat to trim off with their double disc. That includes Jay-Z, that includes Biggie, that includes Tupac even. Like, double discs have not been friendly in music. But Kendrick has one of the albums, the double disc, that actually successfully pulled it off, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. But what's y'all explanation? They say in the 5 years between Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, a lot happened in Kendrick Lamar's life and career. He became a father, launched PG Lang with longtime business partner Dave Free, and as we all learned on his 5th album, embarked on an intensive therapy journey which helped him confront a bunch of longtime trauma. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers wasn't the album most Kendrick Lamar fans were expecting after his last hit-filled Pulitzer-winning multi-platinum effort, but Mr. Morale was the perfect album for the times. Lamar tackled idolatry, depression, hypersexuality, social media addiction, and the ways childhood trauma molds us as adults. The album didn't birth any chart toppers, though its lead single, N95, reached number 3 on the Hot 100. But this album wasn't made for radio. Exactly. It was made for introspection. And Lamar does just that no matter how uncomfortable things get, whether talking to black fathers about their importance or detailing the effect his relationship with his transgender uncle had on him, or telling his mother that he forgot. I'm going to just keep going. Had on him, or telling his mother that he forgives her for not properly dealing with her own trauma. Mr. Morale holds few punches and covers ground other rap albums rarely ever trod. It may not have been the album Kendrick fans wanted, but it was the album he needed to make for himself. That part I do agree with. And I will say, the album probably would have done better if it released in 2021 rather than 2022. I think the timing of this album was off. I think he released it in 2022 because he knew that he would be able to follow it up with a tour, because of course there's the pandemic. But I think unfortunately there's too many references to like the COVID vaccine and N95. That's the mask that a lot of us were wearing, at the height of COVID, trying to stay safe out here. And I think had he released that album in the middle of everybody going through it, I think it would have been a much bigger hit. But it was released when America, for the most part, I wouldn't say the world, but America was at that point where the government was like, we've had enough of this shit. People are not spending enough money. People are not going outside enough. Grocery stores are lacking in sales. We need to push motherfuckers to get their ass up out the house. We need y'all back out stimulating the economy. Fuck all if you die. Get your ass back out there. So then all the tours started popping up. The festivals started popping back up. And everybody was trying to recoup the money in the music industry that they lost between 2020 and 2021. But the album
makes a lot of references to the year prior. I wish it would have dropped in the heart of everything going on. I think it would have definitely rang a bit better to the ears. Timing makes a big difference in music and entertainment, period. If you don't drop it the right time, the way it's received, yeah. I think that album is a victim of ill timing. But that's just me, right? Number 6, they got Untitled Unmastered. In no fucking world is Untitled Unmastered better than Mr. Morale. Y'all crazy as shit. I don't give a fuck. Untitled Unmastered, it has some songs on it that I like. Most of it, I don't care for. It was experimental. It was nice to hear, some of those rough drafts and, the ideas that To Pimp a Butterfly kind of skipped out on, or ideas and, things that could have gone there. And it was like some stuff in the interim, kind of, you know what I mean? But I'm not here for Untitled Unmastered being above nothing else out of the official discography. This was a rough draft project. I don't even want to read y'all this description of it because y'all tripping. Number 5, Section 80. I love Section 80. It's not better than Mr. Morale. I'm sorry. Think back to 2011 when TDE bum rushed the industry with 4 debut solo albums from 4 relatively unknown rappers who collectively called themselves Black Hippie. No one knew which of the eccentric LA natives would go on to dominate the game, but if you placed your bet on the youngin' from Compton who seemed to carry the weight of Black America on his shoulders and rap like Riley from the Boondocks, if he actually listened to Huey, well, you should go play the lotto. Packed with horns and military drums, Section 80 has a young Lamar taken in the world around him and trying to make sense of what he saw. Despite getting a bit too self-serious at times, Kendrick's rapping on his debut is so tightly crafted, so clever, so good. The only thing that belies his experience or lack thereof is the number of questions he poses that he's unable to answer. But that's what sophomore albums are for. I like Section 80. You know what I'm saying? Hold Up, I still bump. Ronald Reagan, I still bump. High Power, still bump. Fuck Your Ethnicity is definitely influential. You know what I'm saying? Keisha's song, Tammy's song, like shit is pretty stacked. But the maturity, rap-wise, his penmanship, the way it developed over the years, it still kind of falls short in comparison to the rest of his music, in my opinion. Some people say Section 80 is their favorite, and I think it's more so, again, like I say, timing, right? It dropped at a time when a lot of people were going through their formidable years. It was that time where, you had J. Cole out here, you had Big Sean, and everybody was like choosing who they fucked with. Drake, Wale, all of them, they were all kind of hitting the market, coming from the blogs, getting their debuts out, trying to see where everybody was going to land. And he had one of the strongest releases from an independent act, with all of them being included. So he definitely stood out and hit the ground running. But I'm a little disappointed at this list. They got GNX at number 4. Y'all know me. I'm honest. I do not put GNX above Mr. Morale. Like, none of these. Man, the rapping that nigga did on that fucking album, that was his most concise. Like, I can't speak enough about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, but I'm gonna try not to. GNX number 4. Kendrick loves Subversion. For example, after making the most popular album of his career, Lamar toured, then took a sabbatical, and returned with his most personal and somber yet. To say it threw fans for a loop would be an understatement. Doing what's expected doesn't seem to interest him. That said, Kendrick still managed to surprise us all when he dropped GNX out of the blue on the morning of November 22nd. But the lack of rollout wasn't the only surprise. After building a catalog full of overly considered excuse me, overly considered high concept albums, GNX eschews all of what fans and detractors have come to expect from a Kendrick album. Instead, Lamar lets it be known from jump that this is different. Fuck a entendre. I want y'all to understand this shit. He raps on whacked out murals. And that's basically, in a nutshell, what this album is. Fucking entendre. I want y'all to understand this shit. So many people have been playing with Kendrick's name, playing with his bars, playing with his ability to, I guess, over rap, that they say, oh, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Same thing people try to do with Nas. Like, oh, ain't nobody trying to hear all that shit. Ain't nobody trying to go to Africa with your ass and know the recap of what you seen out there. Niggas ain't worried about that shit. Nobody want to know how you feel. Feel is one of my favorite Kendrick Lamar records. All that type of shit. So he said, fuck it. I'm just gonna be straightforward with y'all niggas. We gonna get to the bops. We gonna smack niggas in they fucking face. We gonna get some straightening in this game for niggas that done played with your boy, acting like I'm just some square nigga, like I ain't really from the turf. And I appreciate that for what it is. But if I'm comparing GNX to the rest of his discography, it probably comes somewhere to the bottom. And to be at the bottom of an illustrious discography like Kendrick Lamar's is not a shot. It's not a dig. It's just a testament to his talent and his songwriting ability, honestly. They say there's no big-brained idea at play here. The only overarching message is that Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper alive, and he drives it home with the help of some of the most promising up-and-coming talent coming out of the West Coast. The album is brisk, clocking in at 44 minutes. There are no skits, no digressions about hopes and fears, just dope rap for 12 tracks. It's the type of album people said Kendrick would never make, which is likely precisely the reason he made it. Number 3, To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah, I can see that. To Pimp a Butterfly is like definitely top 3 for me. Interchangeably 2 or 3. What's y'all's explanation on this? What do you do after you make a classic? Well, you try to make another one, of course. After a frenzied run that included a flurry of mixtapes, a beloved studio debut, and a follow-up widely considered to be the best rap album since The Blueprint, Kendrick slowed down. While on Yeezus tour, Lamar began sketching out and writing songs for what would become his third album. Over the next 3 years, Lamar would seek the counsel and collaboration of a varied group of artists ranging from Pharrell, the Isley Brothers, George Clinton, and Snoop Dogg. Why y'all don't throw Terrence Martin in there? He's one of the most vital pieces of this project. Why y'all not putting Robert Glasper and all them niggas in there? I know they not bigger names, but the niggas that contributed to this album need all their credit, because everything was concise. Whatever. The through line would be a warm and loose tapestry that covers the history of Black American music, touching on jazz, soul, funk, and early hip-hop. Lamar continues his exploration of the world that made him, questioning every norm, pushing and prodding at the cultural fabric, connecting us all together. It's ambitious and flawed, but in a way its flaws are the best part. There's something incredible about watching an artist experiment without prudence, but the real magic trick TPAB pulls off is feeling at once both well-worn and brand new. I told y'all the other day, I feel like GNX is side B to Pimp a Butterfly. Like, all right, we're going to go to classic West Coast soul funk, you know what I'm saying, G-funk era. Take y'all through that, reintroduce y'all to some classic shit that y'all may have overlooked while y'all was more consumed with Snoop. I'm going to give y'all more DJ Quick, right? And then GNX gives you that other exploration of West Coast California rap, the LA current with the Bay, and going at niggas' heads, you know, pushing lines. I'm not mad at that. Though I feel like the comparison between these two albums, the content is very much the same. Except on To Pimp a Butterfly, it's more so him trying to push his homies back, right? Because his homies want to rush niggas at the BET Awards and take niggas watches and all this type of shit. And he's like controlling, like, yo, hey, man, we trying to elevate here, right? But it's the same setting. It's the same kind of shit going on. But he's trying to embrace the higher version of himself. With GNX, it's like, shit, nigga, I'm back on the turf. I know I told the wolves to calm down. Let them niggas out. Right? But it's a side of the same coin. We'll keep going. Number 2, Damn. You know, Damn is like everybody. It's like a lot of people's favorite, right? Because it had massive hits. But the songs that I love the most from Damn ain't the hits. That's the funny part. But I love Humble, of course. 2017, no one bridges the gap quite like Kendrick Lamar. On his 4th full length, Lamar enlists the talents of legendary New York hip-hop DJ Kid Capri to add some flair to a couple of his songs. I don't think Kendrick gets enough credit for trying to give y'all that mixtape vibe on Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, we calling GNX a mixtape. Some people say Damn is a magazine. But when you got a fucking DJ yelling all over your goddamn song, I don't see how it's a magazine. But maybe I misinterpreted it. Not that they needed much more. On Damn, Kendrick swung the pendulum away from the guilt-laden meditation on the evils that dominated much of the heavily lauded To Pimp a Butterfly. This is a slightly lighter affair. Kendrick's not trying to figure out the system he believes entrapped us. Instead, he's trying to work out his system for surviving these times. You know, this is his The World is Fucked Up album. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some people try to break this down in simplest terms. So yeah. Doing so has him exploring his romantic relationships, the camaraderie with his fellow MCs, and religion. That definitely plays a part. People were trying to claim that Kendrick was a Black Hebrew Israelite. Perhaps that was a phase. I don't know if he's still studying those teachings. He even ventures all the way back to the very beginning of his life, to when his father and his then label head fatefully met at a fast food restaurant to explain that all we see was preordained. It all makes for a fuller and at times more upbeat offering that really shows the breadth of Lamar's talents. He's a gifted songwriter, an even better rapper, and a surprisingly effective vocalist, someone able to affect his voice just perfectly to match tones or erect melodies. Damn proved that Kendrick could do it all, make hits for radio, appease hip-hop traditionalists, and continue his personal journey. As we said, no one can do it quite like Kendrick Lamar. Number 1, Good Kid, Mad City. I mean, you could put this at number 1. I mean, it is the one that made the splash, really took him out of the stratosphere, took him out of the LA scene and whatever they had going on, shifted the paradigm, became the modern classic that hip hop was lacking. Some might say the best hip hop album since Food and Liquor. Some might say Graduation would come in between there, or even my Dark Beautiful Twisted Fantasy. I would probably give it to the latter of those. Graduation was cool, but we're not talking about Kanye. So yeah, Good Kid, Mad City being number 1, that's cool. It ain't my one, but I can understand why somebody would have it there. Like, you got so many different vibes on this album, right? Like, from the jump, the way he started off with the with the Shireen shit and the eerie sound. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? All that shit going on. And that nigga told that fucking story. That was like, the story that was told on Good Kid, Mad City is perfection. The fact that he had you tune into the story, the fact that you know, even though if you didn't know the names of the characters, which I'm sure some people out there know exactly the names of everybody that was rolling through the city, you know, smoking on the shenanigans, getting in the shit, going to Gonzalez Park, you know what I'm saying? Meeting up with Shireen and her friends and all this other shit going on, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, why you babysitting the shit? Give Doc the bottle, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff that I don't even know why I still remember it, but I do. I can get that. Good Kid, Mad City is the rare album that perfectly pays respects to the forebears of the genre it hopes to impact, while breaking all new ground and resetting expectations for artists to come, like past rap classics, GKMC, plays a bit like a stage play, with Kendrick using skits and lively storytelling to reconstitute the world that made him who he is. As a matter of fact, it was a short film by Kendrick Lamar. It says it, homie, right here. Talking about a goddamn stage play. That's Mr. Morale. Anyway, older and wiser, with a more substantial budget, Kendrick takes deeper breaths and bigger swings to tackle the questions and subjects he couldn't quite wrap his head around on Section 80, along with the TDE in-house producers, hitmakers like Pharrell, Just Blaze, Dr. Dre, join in to help create the fun, touching, rowdy, and eloquent songs that make up an album that's perfect yet manages to not collapse under the weight of its own aspiration. For it to come only a year after his studio debut is a feat, a marvel of a project that leaves something new with you after every listen. It's the modern yardstick the rap album will all be referencing, comparing, and contrasting for years to come. Now, Good Kid, Mad City is something that Kendrick was preparing for years. He had song titles, lyrics, all types of things that he had been holding on to for a very long time that ended up making it to the album. And that's why it holds so much weight. Like, that first album for a lot of artists is like your entire life coming into, you know, some people would say a second, whatever, if you want to count Section 80. But this is the debut, the major label debut. This is with the big boys involved. And he knocked that motherfucker out the park. You know what I'm saying? I fucking cried listening to this album by the time we got to Real. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of another album I cried listening to. You know what I'm saying? It was like I felt myself going through the shit with him, and I saw so many parallels between my experience and his own, and I'm like, yo, this nigga spoke my life. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many times I listened to got them dying to thirst, dying to thirst, dying to thirst. Like, craziness. The way it was just constructed, I mean, it is perfection. So I can understand it being number one. But I already told y'all which one is my favorite personally. You know what I'm saying? Now that we've gone through the list, I think there's nothing else from Billboard here. Let me go ahead and take myself off here. Go back here. Let me know which ones y'all would rank number one. Just tell me y'all rankings in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Let me know which ones y'all fucking with, because the dope thing about an artist as talented, skilled, prolific as a Kendrick Lamar, and there's other artists in the music industry that have very strong discographies that the fans can debate about, you know, what's best or how they rank them, is nobody's really wrong. It's all personal preference. Can't nobody whoop your ass on where you place none of this stuff. So again, feel free to let me know in the comments how y'all rank his discography, which albums stand out the most to you in terms of like where you was at in life at different periods, because that's really what music is for, is to be the soundtrack of what it is you're going through in life, and everybody's going through different shit simultaneously, which means that music is going to hit us in our head, our heart, and our soul in so many different ways based on those uncontrolled factors of what's going on. Some people were homeless, possibly. Some people were coming out of high school, others coming out of college or going in. Some people were coming out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Some people are going to recess and just learning about swimming pools, you know, for the first time. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the song. And that was their introduction. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many different moments that happen. I don't know how old everyone is that tunes into the channel, but that plays a part. But I felt like this was a good conversation to have. So again, let me know how y'all would rank the discography in totality. And I'll be sure to fuck with y'all down there, man, in the comments. Much love and respect. I'm going to catch y'all later. Be sure to like and share this video. This is your first time seeing me on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'm going to catch y'all later, man. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit on my almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest, but drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.